All right. So I'm sitting here with Bob Lorman and Kenny Nielsen, a couple of my heroes I grew up with following these guys. These guys have literally made a living working on the ocean their whole lives. We're going to get a little backstory, talk a little bit about their business and how it's evolved and where they started from and how this whole thing in San Clemente sport fishing, my father, all of my heroes growing up, and how it evolved and how they went fishing and what got them into this, because literally these two guys have made their living on the water pretty much their whole lives, except Bob went into law enforcement for a little while, and that was kind of sucked for me, but it was okay. Not really, it was good. But he worked on the water every single day in law enforcement also. So we're just going to talk to these guys a little bit, get a little background on their lives and what's going on and what their passion and how they got their passion and how they got into this whole thing. We're just going to tell some stories here today. Nothing big, just some stories. All right, guys, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today? What a bitchin' morning, huh?
Nice morning. No wind here.
Yeah. So
for me, I started when I was like 10 years old on the pier. So we lived in Pomona at the time, and my uncle had the roofing company in San Clemente, and we'd come down every summer, and I'd spend my summers with a drop line catching queen fish, called them herring then.
Herring, yeah.
Yeah, with a Lucky Joe, and so I'd come down every summer, and that's all I'd want to do is spend the time on the pier. And at that time, we caught a lot of fish. I mean, they caught bonita off the pier, halibut. The fishing was pretty good. Lots of sharks. People fish sharks at night. But anyway, so in the 6th grade, we finally moved to San Clemente, which I was in my glory because I could go to the pier every day. Got a Roddy rod and a Pin 500 for my 12th birthday, and started fishing on the pier. And then one of the guys in high school was friends with the chief of police, Cliff Murray, and Don, your dad, Don was good friends with them. They were drinking buddies, and they lived across the street from Kenny. So I got to know them, and then I got to know your dad from them. You know, he was like the god of fishing because he was running the sump fund at the time. First year of the sump fund, actually. So anyway, I asked him if I could come and clean the boat. And he said, yeah, you can come and clean the boat. So every day after school, I'm at the boat in the summertime, and got on the boat and scrubbed the boat, and then finally let me go fishing a couple times, and every day pinheading and on the boat. And so then that was when I was 13. I actually got hired as a second deck. So, and then I kind of cheated because you had to have a work permit at 14 to be able to work. So then I went full time, double half days on the sump fund in so that would have been 62, I guess, 1962. So the old man, so Don was my boss, tyrant, fired my ass a couple times, more than a couple times, for looking the wrong way or dropping the anchor at the wrong time. I was thinking about this last night. What I always remember, looking up, getting ready to drop the anchor, looking up at him, and he's squinting into the meter, you know the old paper meters, and he's squinting into it, and it looks like he's smiling, but he's really pissed off. He's squinting into this thing. And I remember the one time that he gave me he usually just gives like a quick nod to drop the anchor, and so when I felt him backing down, and he went like this, like he couldn't find the rock, and I dropped the anchor, and I got fired for that because he was still going forward, I guess. No, those are the best times of my life. I mean, they had a pier party for all the people that had worked on the pier and everything. It was just like a giant family. It was quite a bit different than it is today because there was a dock and people come and go. And in those days, everybody interacted because you got the skiff to take. The first boat went out with a skiff. The crew went out with a skiff. They got that boat. They came in to pick up their passengers at the pier, and then the next crew got on the boat with the passengers, and then they went out to the moorings and got on the rub rail and dropped them off on the next boat that's going out. So everybody was interactive. The tackle shop was right there, the restaurant, so it was all one big family. And there was always a party at the end of the season, and it was really great growing up. So I think and they gave you, for me, it gave me a sense of value because they respected me. Kind of, even though I was only 13, 14, 15. And then eventually I was first deck on the Clemente, and the Clemente was built in 1965. And then later on, I got my license and I ran the Clemente for a couple of years. Started in 70, 71, 72. Then 73, I went to the sheriff's department. But I've kept connected with Don and you particularly, and